Hi, my name is Alicia and you are watching the Reptile Rendezvous. So in last week's video, I actually showed you guys all of my animals, but in this week's video, we're actually going to be talking about animals that I actually really want to keep. My dream reptiles. Now, if you guys watched that video, which I definitely recommend that you should, I actually told you guys that I've already gotten one of my dream reptiles, and that was my Hog Island boa Pandora. But I still have a huge list of animals I want to keep in the future, and these are just 5 of the species I want to keep the most. And I'm also going to be explaining in this video why I'm probably never going to keep these animals. Some of these animals are just crazy expensive, take up way too much space, or are just actually illegal to keep. With all those factors in mind, I still really hope I can keep these reptiles someday. So let's get on to the list. So the first animal on this list is actually Bolans pythons. Bolans pythons are a species of a non-venomous arboreal snake native to the mountains of New Guinea. They have a lifespan of 15 to 20 years, and they can actually reach up to 14 feet long, which is definitely super big for a snake, and it's definitely something I personally would not keep until I also had someone who actively could handle snakes with me at almost all times. But these snakes are absolutely stunning. Under the sun, every inch of the 14 feet of their body shines rainbow. This is actually an iridescence just due to their scales, and it is so beyond beautiful. And not only do I love black snakes in general, but the fact that they just shine this much is just absolutely stunning. But the reason I can't keep these snakes is just due to their price tag. Yes, they would take up a lot of space, but I would be completely prepared to sacrifice that space for this species because I love them so much. But the price tag to buy an individual Bolans python, a baby, is $17,000 to $23,000 Canadian, which is roughly $12,000 to $16,000 American. You are paying over $10,000, a down payment on a house for a singular snake. Now, don't get me wrong, if I won the lottery, I would 100% make this one of my first purchases. And that's why I just don't think I will ever keep Bolans pythons, no matter how much I love them. The next animal on this list is definitely a lot smaller, and that is a red-footed tortoise. They are native to northern South America, and they average between 12 and 16 inches and actually live up to 50 years in captivity. Now, I've always loved turtles and tortoises, especially tortoises. I am so fascinated by these slow-moving animals, and I really want one. And I think the reason I love red-footed tortoises so much is not only are they just super cute, but my favorite color is actually red. So the fact that they have little red spots on their heads and their feet just make them even cuter to me. Now, realistically, this animal is not super hard to care for, and honestly, the only reason I just can't keep these right now is based on my climate and the amount of space they need. So the minimum enclosure size for a red-footed tortoise is actually 8 feet by 4 feet by 2 feet, which is a very big enclosure. And most of the time, people will actually keep their tortoises outside in the summer months to actually save space and also give them a little bit more enrichment. But unfortunately, where I am in Ontario, Canada, the weather is just sometimes too unpredictable to be able to do that. Some days we could have 45-degree weather, and the next we could have pissing rain. So it's just a little bit difficult to properly manage their temperatures when it fluctuates so much. I definitely think if I had a dedicated space for these guys indoors eventually, I could definitely keep one, and it's a lot more realistic than a $20,000 snake, but it's just going to be something that's going to be in the far future because currently I don't have 8 feet of floor space for an enclosure. The next animal on this list has been one of my dream species ever since I started keeping reptiles, and I'm honestly pretty sad that I don't know if I'll ever be able to keep one. Argentine black and white tegus are the largest of the tegu species. They are native to eastern and central South America, and they get 3 to 5 feet long and can live 15 to 20 years in captivity. Now, right away, you probably know why I can't keep this lizard. They are huge. I love these lizards. When they are properly tamed out, they can literally be considered puppy dogs of the reptile world. Now, I know not all individuals are like that. I just think that they are so cute and their temperament is just so admirable, and I really want one. Unfortunately though, they need an enclosure of 8 feet by 4 feet by 4 feet, which, as previously mentioned, 8 feet of floor space for me is not attainable, especially not in this place. And then add an additional 4 feet on that, it's just completely unrealistic. And a big lizard comes with a big diet. Argentine black and white tegus are omnivores, meaning they basically eat anything and everything. You need to feed them them a variety of insects, vegetables, rodents, seafood, eggs, protein, like any kind of protein. These guys need a very varied diet. And for my current lifestyle where I am actively working as well as going to school and taking care of the other animals I already have, it's just not smart for me to get an animal that requires that much time and attention. Unfortunately, at this point in my life, a Argentine black and white tegu is just too demanding for me, although I really wish I could have one. The next animal on this list saddens me even more than the last because I actually could have kept one. False water cobras are native to South America and they grow on average from 6 to 7 feet, but individuals have been found reaching 9 to 10 feet, and they live about 15 to 20 years. The reason they're called false water cobras is because they actually hood up just like a cobra does when they feel threatened. But the difference is that these guys actually are not venomous in the same way that cobras are. So false water cobras are actually rear fang venomous, just like hognose snakes, which means they are not medically significant to humans if you are bit, but a lot of bylaws and communities still believe that you shouldn't keep any sort of venomous reptile, whether it is medically significant or not. So although I would have personally been very okay with dealing with the 8 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot enclosure, as well as some sort of water basin, because they are semi-aquatic snakes, the bylaws in my area do not let me keep any sort of rear fang venomous snake because they are considered still venomous. Now, of course, I've still seen plenty of people bring hognose snakes into the vet clinic and nothing is said, but personally for me, it's just not worth the risk of getting an animal that doesn't necessarily follow the rules and regulations of where I live, because if they were to find out that I was personally keeping one, they could come into my home and take that animal from me. And to me, it's just not worth the risk. Now, the reason why this really saddens me is because I really want a false water cobra. They are my favorite snake. And actually, before getting my Hog Island boa, I was hoping to get a false water cobra until I found out that they were rear fang venomous and I couldn't keep it in my area. But that brings me to the last animal on this list of my dream reptiles, and that is the Malaysian cat geckos. They are native to Southeast Asia and grow from 4 to 7 inches long. They also live about 10 years in captivity, which is a good lifespan for a small gecko. They are actually called cat geckos because they curl their tails up just like cats do, and I just think that is actually so cute. They actually don't need very large enclosures, just 18 by 18 by 18, so even smaller than what Astro's in behind me. But one of the difficulties of these guys, and part of the reason I personally couldn't really keep them right now, is because they do need pretty high humidity. They need an average daytime humidity of 65 to 80% and a nighttime spike of 90 to 100%, which would be super difficult to obtain in my current room at the moment because it is in the basement and naturally the air is drier. And unfortunately, automatic misters are very expensive if you get one that's actually of good quality, so it's just a little bit too expensive at the moment. On top of this, each of these individual small geckos range from $500 to $600 captive bred, just because they are not super available. Now, I will say, out of all the animals on this list, this is definitely the animal that is the easiest for me to obtain because really I just need a misting system and the ability to source one of these guys. But for now, it's unrealistic for me because that is just a lot of money. So that was my list of 5 reptiles that I hope to keep in the future, and I hope that maybe inspired you guys to look at some new species that you've maybe never heard of. But that being said, I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this video and you want to see more, definitely go check out my channel and make sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as that notification button so you know every single time I post a new video. Also, I'd love for you guys to comment down below what your dream reptiles are and what you hope to keep in the future. I'll see you guys in the next one.